Hello, I think we're live now. So, welcome to another stream. Today we're going to continue to work on our little rusty pong game. And we're going to use ChatGPT again to answer most of our questions and also to teach us a little bit about good Rust programming practices. Something that I've probably missed out quite a lot. I've just basically written any Rust code that would just get my game compiling and running, and I can kind of tell that it's not very sort of pragmatic in the way I've written my syntax. So let's do that today. And I hope that the volume of my voice is okay, and I hope you can hear me well. And if you can't hear me, please let me know. And I'll try and fix it. Again, we're going to use Visual Studio Code here. This is what we've been using to develop our Rusty Pong game. Currently, it's all in the same sort of file. It's just the main file somewhere. But the idea is to maybe modularize this a little bit better, or even just keep everything in the same file, but have better written functions that can just sort of unduplicate some of the code, if that's a word. Because yeah, there's quite a bit of code here that I've written in Rust that is just doing the same thing over and over again. For example, the event handling here. So yeah. And as always, let me just check that I can hear myself by actually pausing this. That I can hear myself. And as always, let me just check. Let me just check that. See, the sound of the music is just a bit too loud, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Maybe there, and then, you know, the rest is good. Maybe I can also change the side chaining a little bit too. All right. Compress the side chain, okay. And let's, yeah, bring it down even more when we speak. And also, I'm going to turn the volume of my microphone a little bit louder. If that's possible. I mean, I'm trying to. There you go. Maybe that'll work. Okay. Right. Hopefully it all sounds better now. But yeah, feel free to let me know if you can't hear me. Right, so let's pick a candidate here for maybe refactoring or just improving in general. So I think in the last stream, I basically, if I'm not mistaken, created a struct for the ball state that has actually two states, the horizontal moving state and the vertical moving state. And they each are, of course, a paddle state, which is an enum I previously created. That's fine. And also I had a function to update the ball state, which is here, which takes in some sort of actions, right? Yeah. And those actions are summarized right here. Yeah, what I did as well is I turned the wall variables, or just the the static paddles of our scene into sort of static variables, because they don't really ever change at the moment. So let's just make them super const and outside of the main function. Now, one thing I know that you can do in Go is to implement traits, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm basically calling, you know, draw on every single paddle here. But I could also make all of these paddles and all of the ball and whatever into drawable things. But in this case, we might not need it because they're all the same type anyway. So essentially what I can do is I can just have a function to draw these things. And then what I pass into that function would be I guess, a vector of the things I want to draw, right? So let's try and do that. Let's declutter this function even more by doing that. And again, this is the syntax here for sending a vector in as a reference, okay? So let's do draw paddles or something. And all that we're going to check, all that we're going to take here is the actual drawables. So the paddles, and they will obviously be vectors of paddles, as far as I know, right? And this will return is void a thing? No, they just don't return, right? And what we can do here is we can do for each paddle, so each paddle and paddles, I guess. Is that how you borrow it? And let me just make sure by using ChatGPT to tell me how to iterate over a vector of elements in Go by reference. Now I'm using C++ terms here like reference because I want to know if it means the same thing. Iterate over the slice, and apparently I can just do, oh, I put in Go. This is a different language, of course. So how to iterate over a vector of items by reference in Rust. There you go, that's a better question now. So in this example, we create a vector of integers and iterate over it using a for loop with the itermute method. The iterate mutable method returns an iterator over mutable references to the elements to the vector, which allows us to modify the elements in place. I don't want to do that. So can you show me the same code but iterating over const elements? So I don't want to sort of change each element. I just want to iterate over the const vector. So .iter. Okay, that's cool. But do I need to use the iter function? So std iter. Let's actually read the documentation of it because I don't trust ChatGPT at this particular state. I think you don't need to put the iter anymore. So I can do this essentially because I've done it before. So unused variable, okay. So at least Rust has the the concept of iterators, which is definitely a good thing, right? I guess they kind of work in the same way as C++, right? From the looks of it, they just point to a particular element in a collection. These are while loops. I want the for loops. For expression syntax, okay. See, in this example, they don't use the iter function at all. They just iterate over it. Okay, so let's do that. Right. Let's not use the iter. Apparently we can use the iter here. And it's kind of the same thing, but does it make any difference runtime wise? Is it less efficient? I don't know. We're just gonna do what looks better for now. So what do we do here? We draw the paddle, right? That's what we want to do. We draw paddle. Oh, we need the canvas as well. That's what we haven't got. And the canvas, we're gonna copy it here because this type is very convoluted. Let's actually paste it there. Okay. Do we still need this draw paddle function? Probably not, right? Probably don't, because now these lines can go into here. And then we can get rid of this. Or for now. Let's just do this, because then I don't want to get rid of the code completely, because I mess up. But I also want to do this, draw paddles, mutation, and then here will be vec. What's the difference between vec exclamation and vec not exclamation? What is the difference between vec exclamation and vec in Rust? Because I don't know. So there are two ways of creating a vector of t, where object t is the type of the element. So vec exclamation is a macro that creates and initializes a new vec t object with a given list of elements. Okay, so if I've got like a set number of elements, I can use that. Vec new is a method that creates a new empty vector. Here's an example. Okay, so when you want to create a new vector element that's empty, and maybe you want to dynamically push elements to it, and you want it to be mutable, you have to declare it like this, I guess. So it makes sense. Now what was the other? Because this, what is this function here? What is this this syntax? Let's ask it to explain to us, right? What does the following Rust syntax achieve? Does it work? Initialize it with a reference to an array of string literals. Reference symbol before the array literal is a reference operator which creates a reference to the array instead of copying its contents. This allows the array to be used without copying elements, which can be more efficient for large arrays or in situations where the arrays is passed between functions. Okay, so this is definitely something that's interesting to us. In this case, the array has 3 string literals, apples, cake, and coffee. The type of V is a reference string, which is a reference to an array of 3 string slices. This string is a type string slice that represents a borrowed reference to a UTF-8 encoded string. String slices are used in Rust to provide a more efficient and safer way of working with strings, as they can be used without copying the entire string. Overall, the code creates a new variable v as a reference to an array of string slices. It's to an array of, okay. Can we do this then? That's my question. So that something like, you know, paddles to draw or something like that. Now we do this. And then we've got the first player, we've got the second player, we've got the ball paddle, we've got the top wall, ball wall, left wall, and right wall. Does this work? Okay, yeah, it seems to. And can I now pass this though? Something like to draw? I suppose it's not going to work. Okay, so maybe here we can have references. Does this work? No. What type is this? Vector paddle. Okay. Does this work now? Does it say that they're all the same size? That's better. That's much better. Right, so the ampersand, or just the what do you call it? This here, the square brackets represents a like a C array essentially, like an array on the stack, whereas the vector is a, I guess, a dynamic array, right? So that makes sense. Okay. Now, according to my calculations, I guess this should work now. So let's see. Let's try and run this. Should still draw everything in the same way as before. Okay, cool. And it does work. Okay, cool. Just making sure nothing's failing. We still have the issues of going off the screen for each paddle, but you know, what can we do? But essentially, I mean, we saved a few lines of code now, so we can remove this one, this function, and we can also remove it down here. A bunch of lines that we essentially made redundant now. So the things to draw are all of these. So I like the type deduction in Rust. I mean, it definitely deducts the right type. If I remove one of these, what happens? It doesn't work because it's different from, yeah, from all of the other ones. But that's cool. I mean, obviously this is kind of a little bit ugly, right? So ideally we would have something like this. Okay, again, another function that we can potentially sort of put somewhere else are these update calls, right? So we're updating 4 different things. So what we can do is our update function could take instead pairs of these things here. Takes a paddle by reference, takes a paddle state not by reference. Huh. And then it just does the thing to all of them, I guess, right? That's what we want to do. Well, maybe not quite yet. Not quite yet, because we actually update the state. We change a variable based on those, so we would be returning sort of an array as well of the same size as the input and having to update the value. So that is, although it sounds simple, I don't know what the best way to do that in Rust is yet. So what the best way of doing that is. So let's leave that for now. I'm very tempted to tie those 2 things together, because they are 2 separate values that you basically have to change separately. You know, the player state and the player paddle itself. So if you're moving it, you'll be looking at the state, and you also, based on the state, you'll be moving the X and Y positions of those. A good coding practice tell me to basically tie these 2 things together in a struct. So yeah, so maybe let's do that. I mean, we've got a paddle state here. We've got a paddle itself here, right? So why don't we move this down here? And as well as the paddle, we can also say, you know, it has a paddle state, which is a paddle state. Why is this not working? The trait bound is not satisfied. Copy. Okay, yeah, because this has a default trait and this does not. So I kind of like that it complains about that. Do we want a default here though? What happens if we just take the default away? Instead of having too many traits, let's remove the traits we don't need. And now obviously we got the code complaining everywhere. So before we solve these things here, let's actually solve the creation of the paddles. So all the walls should be idle to start with, right? I forgot to put the state name. Okay, there'll be some more issues here. Okay, and again, we're gonna start at idle. So in the bold state, See, the ball paddle is a different one. Now I'm wondering whether it should all of them should have a horizontal state and a vertical state. For the sake of simplicity and not having to make a ball an edge case, we're going to expand all of the other paddles as well. Now let's make this pretty, shall we? Make it a little bit more readable, not having massively long lines everywhere. That would help a little bit, in my opinion. Okay, so the first player is there. And the second player is also going to be a paddle. We'll fix that in a second. Okay, so horizontal state. Okay. There'll be more things that are complained to us, like this. I'm very okay. So, you know, these functions here, I'm very tempted to just make a function that will create this for us, but I want to do that in a static const expr sort of context, because these things are really, you know, created at compile time. So can I do that in Rust? Can I create a function that will create me a paddle in compile time, given that the paddle only has like integers and an enum on them, or enums? I don't know. Let's have a look. How to create const expr from C++ functions in Rust. So let's have a look at that. In Rust, the equivalent of const expr is called const function. Const function is a function that can be evaluated at compile time, and whose result can be used in other const function or static contexts. Amazing. Incredible. Incredible. So all we need to do here really is, you know, having a const function, make wall or something, right? And this obviously assumes that we scene wall, where it's always idle. Okay. And what we need an x, which is x, y is so we need a 4 x I32. That didn't work at all. What is it? 4x I32. Okay, cool. I was wondering why my Vim is not working there. My width and height. Right, yeah. And of course we return a paddle. Why the hell is this complaint? Mismatch types, expect paddle found. Okay, cool. The song is actually quite good. Is it going to complain that the names are different? Or they're the same, in fact? Expected. Okay, so when you don't put a freaking semicolon, it returns. Okay, so now these can be a bit more readable, right? So instead of that, we have a make wall. Okay. So what have we learned here? We've learned how to create const expert functions. It does seem to be kind of easy, actually. And in my opinion, easier than in the C++ version. Because we don't have a different keyword to represent const expert. It's also const, you know. I guess const means const expert in this case, right? Because everything else is const by default, so they don't really have const elsewhere in Rust. But oh well, you know. I like the word const. Wait, what was it? Okay, make sure I don't mess up these values. Okay, now yeah, we don't. This is it. And then here we have that. Why make wall? Fun fact, I guess we could use this function as well to create our paddles, but I like a player paddles, but we can have a different function to create a ball. Okay, so bit by bit, we're simplifying it a little bit. Does it still run? Let's see. Tell me it still compiles? No, it doesn't compile. Ah, okay, yeah, because we haven't actually fixed the paddle issue everywhere. Yeah, so the ball paddle, that's an interesting one. So the horizontal, if I'm not mistaken, we can. We still need to change all our event handling as well. Ooh, that's going to be fun. Horizontal state, what do we have? Paddle state, moving down, I guess, moving right, moving up. Okay, so this is equivalent to what we had before. Another thing fixed. Now update paddle obviously needs to be changed. And here we go, all the event stuff as well. And update ball state, which becomes one function now. Water is actually really good when you're thirsty. I'll tell you. Okay. Yeah, so let's begin by what was the first 2 arrows here? So we have a paddle, we have a state. We don't need that anymore. We can just have a paddle, and the ticks past can be just a normal copied variable. So what do we match? We match the paddle dot state. Is that right? Paddle dot horizontal state. One second. What's the logic here? So when I check a both, okay, so this may be a bit weird, because actually we want the horizontal, or the new, it's moving up and down. We change the new UI, right? So the new Y, for example, is equals to match out of the horizontal state or vertical state, right? I guess. And I also just realized that we have too many useless states. Yeah, I mean, let's waste a bit of memory for now. Yeah, I mean, in my mind, by the way, we don't really need to have horizontal or vertical state, right? We would just need to have, I guess, a vector of states, because they can be moving up and moving right. And this is all a state. So you can have multiple state transitions. But let's waste another variable by having the horizontal and vertical variables that are saving both states. So the vertical state is moving up and down. What we want to do is just to set this, really, that's what we want. And the rest goes away. If it's sort of like anything else, right? That's how you write it, I guess. It's just going to be the same as before. So paddle.y, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, now we're changing the x value, so it would be something like, let new x be a match paddle.vertical, or horizontal in fact, state and then we copy these two here because this is what actually matters. Moving left to right, don't want to give the paddle away, we just want to have that. And then if it's anything else, like this, it would just be the same, paddle.x. We don't need to clone here. We don't need that either. I kind of like the syntax. And what we do here is actually return a new paddle with the new x, right? I guess the new x. Y is going to be the new y. W is going to be the paddle.w. Width and the height is going to be the paddle.height. And then the same state as before. And this is the value we return. Okay, I'm kind of happy with this. I know we've added a lot of lines, but in terms of operations, we haven't added that many. We don't need the states anymore. What we can do is just get rid of this stuff. And again here, get rid of all of this. In fact, the balls can just be one now, because it will be both of them. It's no longer a special case. And yeah, I mean, can we do something like this actually for each paddle? Can we do that? No way this is gonna work. There's no way this is gonna. Let's see, without doing all this, let's see if it's gonna complain about it. Six past, right? It seems to freaking work. Listen, okay, that's cool. And we also have the ball. Hello. Hope they both stay. Okay, I have no idea. What is this? Oh yeah, so this is where we update the state of the ball. Yeah, so what we can do is we can remove that. It's no longer needed. And whatever we had the ball vertical, it would just be the ball vertical state, really. The same thing here. Okay, I mean, looking okay now. one less error. Cool, right? Update paddle returns a paddle, update ball returns a ball. Okay, what's the difference between this one? Okay, so this update function here actually just updates the paddle. But update the ball is update the ball state, right? Huh. Maybe bad naming here. They don't really do the same thing. But we can go with this. It's not an issue. Anyway, let's go down here. So the ball state doesn't exist anymore. But what we can do is we can do the... Wait, what does that return? Ball state. There's a ball state. Okay. I'm thinking very hard because the ball state doesn't need to be here anymore. It's no longer something we need. Then that goes. I'm going to change this function here called update paddles called MovePanel. That's what it really does. It moves the paddles. And then the update ball state can just be called yeah, I mean this is still okay. This returns a ball. Should really return a ball. Because now we can just do this, you know. I know it's probably lazy programming here. I can't think of a better way, but we'll go with this. Okay. The ball paddle is that. And now obviously we're gonna second player state. Let's just sequence second player. I think it's called vertical state, right? Yeah. And again, this is second player dot vertical state is one of these. This is the next thing we're going to tackle, simplifying this whole thing. Okay, kind of sounds like dubsteppy. I like it. And then what is this? Move paddle. Cannot assign twice to immutable variable paddle. Okay. I was hoping that this would work. Let's see, so iterate over array of mutable objects in Rust. Let mute people. Okay, so does this work? Immutable. Does not work. No. Mute can be used in several situations. This is immutable. What's the actual error that it gives us? Out of interest. Let's see. Expected expression. Okay, that works better. So on paddle. What is the error? The paddle expected due to the type of this binding. Found stroked paddle. Consider dereferencing here. Consider dereferencing here to assign the mutably borrowed value. Does it work now? I don't understand this syntax. Oh no, dude, it's not updating. Yeah, it's not updating because of this. This is not working the way I expect it to be. Maybe there is a way to do this, but right now why is it not auto-completing for me? So that was not doing this. This is what I wanted it to do, essentially. Just a minor nitpick, but I just wanted it to run for every oh, still. Okay, so the ball is not updating, I guess. Cool. I mean, these are still working fine from the looks of it. Interesting. Why is the ball not moving? Where do I create my ball? Moving up or moving right? Okay. So what is the issue? The issue is going to be here somewhere in a play ball state. I have no idea why the ball stopped working. But it's part of the process to break the code. See, Rust is not as amazing as people say it is. You can still break code. Yeah. I want to know why this breaks. So, look, my ball paddle is moving to the right, I guess. To the right, down by 600 pixels per second. So, let's see what happens in here. Vertical state goes on this one. Horizontal state moving left and right. So I guess it's because the vertical and the horizontal are mixed up somehow. Let's see. The ball paddle. Where are we? Horizontal says moving up. It should have been moving right. Just as before. And I'm moving up. There you go. Nothing that a bit of debugging can help us with. And it's beautiful. Working just beautifully. Just the same as before. Which is great. Cool. Now, we have the option of calling at night, or potentially spending another 30 minutes simplifying this down here. And I'm still not giving up on this. I want to learn how to do this, essentially. So, in other words, I want to assign, I want to create a mutable array, or an array of mutable references. These things, and for each of those things, we're going to call MovePanel on and assign the original thing to that. I just don't know how to do it in Rust, but I will learn eventually. I mean, ChatGPT didn't actually give us a proper thing here. It did. I mean, this, I guess this does work. But it's not quite our use case. So anyway, let's take a look at this real quick. So for each key press, I've got an event, right? So I have an event that says what happens when the key is down, and what happens when the key is up. If the event was the same, I guess, right? Yeah. So one of the problems that we might have here is that if we put this into a function and only require the key, and then the two states, what happens when you key down and what happens when you key up, we'd have to match the enum without the amount inside. This is one of the things I can foresee here. So let's ask ChatGPT if that's possible. So how in Rust, how to match an enum with whatever amount inside, whatever, sorry, attributes, I think it's called, right? Attribute values inside it, given the enum came from an input, a parameter of a function. This is quite a complex question, at least the way I phrased this. Let's see. Okay, so fruit. See, all of these have a thing inside it. So, I mean, I guess if it has an amount, I can just put the amount inside, right? It's not an issue. So yeah, let's do that. So what's the best pattern to solve this? If you think about it, it's just a switch case, big switch case, right? Could turn this into an if statement, I guess. Actually just take the key down part of it and key up. Right. You have matches inside the matches, which is interesting. I mean, one way of doing this in C++ would be create a macro that would auto-generate all of this, but is it possible? How to create macros in Rust? Are macros bad in Rust? So X is an expression. Yeah, I could do with macros, just register a macro that would do like a key event a key press event, and it will take the key up and key down, I guess. I mean, take the key value, okay. What does ChatGPT tell us? So how to simplify long match expressions in Rust. There is a matches macro. Nice. Wait, what? How is that simplifying? Okay, if matches fruit apple. Okay. So ideally I could do something like this: if matches alright, label. What's the advantage of using this? Let's see. So basically this, right? That's what we want to put in there. In fact, I'm wary of the time. So if it matches this shit, what do? We do second player. Moving up 600, right? How does this make it even more readable? I don't understand, but let's go through there and see what we can do in the end. Event, and then we've got key down one now. I'm still a bit skeptical, but I guess, for doing this. What's moving up? Okay, it turns into an if statement. Now, is it the same though? Like, which one actually generates better code in the end? I don't know. I don't know which one I prefer, yeah, either, but now the second one is key up. So key up, the key down then, right? W, of course. Some key. There'll be W here as well. Event key up and down. Instead of second player, we have the first player, right? All the way. And now we've got key up and down as well for S and down, which I'm just going to copy from here. S in here and S in here too. And this again is first player, if I'm not mistaken, with S, first player, yeah. And then we've got down to here. I've got moving up all the way, so this will be moving down amount to -600, right? Yeah. Cool. Key down, S and D. Again, here will be D, moving down. Instead of first player, we have second player here. Right, one step closer to actual functional. Anything else? We don't do anything. Can we remove this now? Did it help? I can't tell. to be honest. I just don't know. Now, where's this from? For the event there. Okay, is this working fine? Okay. Does it still compile? I assume it will compile. And it still runs as well. Yeah, so above messed up the point. So first player, for example, is going the opposite way. Let's see why. So when the key is W, there, it says moving up. It should be minus 600 there. That's fine. And moving up should be also be minus 600 there. When the key is up arrow, the second player. And when it's moving down, when the key is D, first player. Alright. Wait a second, this should be down. Yeah, that's why. Let's recompile this. I've just been an idiot, really. Down, up. There you go. Up, down. Yeah. Both my first players are moving up all the time. So moving down should be 600, okay. Let's try again. Down, up, down, up. There you go. That's good. Now, why have we done this? Well, because really we can turn all these things into a function, or we can do a for loop. Alright, so what changes in here? Well, the first player, which key has been pressed, which key code actually, which amount, and what it should do. Okay, so this is what we need here. I said half an hour, hopefully it's not going to take too much longer. But what do we need? We need the player that we're changing. Player that we're changing. The key pressed. Like W, for example. And which direction? So which state we're going to be applying this to? State or idle. Okay. So again, I mean, we've got both state here. So let's call it let's create another function here. So update player state, right? And then we can also have the player, which obviously is a paddle. I'm going to take an action. And what was the action? I don't even need that, really. What did it say we need? It's down here. Let's go back up there. Put this here. We needed the key pressed, which is one of these, right? So key code. What is it? Probably known SDL key code, I guess. The key, which is an SDL2 key code, I guess. Like, dude, where are these types from? STL keyboard, right? Key code. This is just an enum, right? So we can just pass it by copying. And then which state we should go to. So paddle state. So this is the moving state. I'm going to copy one of these. Let's return a paddle there. Ooh, right. For the sake of being lazy, so a new state. And we'd need the event, of course, as well. How did I not see that? So the event, it's just an event, right, I guess. Okay, so the event there. Huh? Else if, and then return paddle. Okay, that did a bit too much for me. I don't want moving up. This is what we're doing here, so the state. And then this will be the state as well. And this is simply the new vertical state. It's idle. This is intended. Wait, what's going on? What do you mean is unused, bro? It's here. If matches vertical state. I don't understand this, but okay. Let's just move one of these. So moving all the way from here to here. Or in fact, all the way from here to here, I said, right? And then which one did I remove? Second player, right? The event, second player. Which key is it that we pressed? And key code. I believe it was up, right? Key code, right? And the state itself would have been, what is it? Paddle state moving up. And the amount would have been 6 minus 600. Okay, does it work? It will compile, surely. I still don't know why this is left unused. States here. It does work, from the looks of it. So let's replace every single one of them now, naturally. This is not the final form, by the way. I still want to do a lot of better things. So naturally, we have key down here. We'll be moving down. And the amount would be something. I really don't like the space it puts in here. Use of moved value. Huh? Use of moved value. I don't understand, but let's try and compile it anyway. So key and state are both unused. Go to key code, unuse variable. I don't understand why it's not being used. I really don't understand. Let's leave that there for now. Use of moved value event. Value moved here. Okay, so you're only allowed to move it once, I guess. Okay. Yeah, let's borrow it. So basically, just this. That's what we need. As far as I know, right? Oh yeah, it's because we haven't done this. Still works. Oh. What the hell? Cool, now open down. Alright, that was weird. Let's do that again just to make sure. So pressing W and S. That's really fucking weird. Second plane vertical state there. So this is essentially what I removed from here. Pressing the up key. Let's debug this real quick. So if it matches key down, some code key, why is key not here? Key up. Key code. Alright, so this is clearly not what I'm trying to pass to it. Key code www. Where is this from? This is what I want. I have no idea why it's matching out, you know. Let's ask our favorite friend, why ChatGPT, why the value of key is being unused in the following roast code. being shadowed by the key code. Inverse variables can be shadowed by declaring a new variable with the same name as the existing variable. This is useful in cases where you need to use a variable with the same name as existing variables, but with a different type of value. If the matches macro, we are using the keyword field. In the matches macro, we are using the key code field of event. Code field of event. To match key. You can rename the key parameter to something else, so you can I still don't understand why this is not being used. It's there. Right, guys, I'm unfortunately going to call an eye because it's been quite long and I want to sleep. But we're getting there. We're getting this a little bit simpler, and soon we'll be able to turn all of this into just a function call like the one in here, you know, update ball state. This is the idea, so let's hope we can do that. That's it. Thank you for watching, if anyone's watching this in the future. So yeah, bye for now, and bye bye.